Intrepid viewers, how are you? Most of you are in the middle of summer now, so I hope that's okay in terms of your electricity power supply and other things. So let me know how you're actually going. I like to keep track of all of you. Okay, so keep in touch with the comments. Now today, it's not going to be massively long. I wanted to talk about the Yeti has been outright abusing Jack Smith. You know, every opportunity there's a microphone, he's saying things about Jack Smith, how the office should be defunded, how Jack Smith should be put out to rest. Is that code? Does he really think his henchmen would act on that? Is it a risk for Jack Smith? What is going on with these Yeti threats to Jack Smith? Let's see. Is he going to be pulled up at some time or not? You know, let's have a look. Is he going to continue to get away with threatening and abusing senior counsel? Well, entirely possible. I'm pleased to say someone's looking at it. This could be what's left of his legal team, or it could be external advice to Trump saying, you've got to be careful now, these things are going forward, so many things, you know, going forward, you have to be a bit careful. I would describe that as too little, too late, why bother? But I can only report on what the cards have to say. I think in this case, the Knight of Wands is in fact Trump himself not quite knowing where to stop, when to stop. He's never had to stop. He's never been pulled up like this horse. So in a way, he just gallops forward with a complete disconnect to the brain. Mind you, he has got the brain of a goldfish, so being connected to his brain probably isn't an advantage, but that's just me. I am a jaundiced old bag. Okay, Biden's here. I don't think Biden is actively saying go after Trump. He doesn't have to. There are so many cases. But he is maybe, I'm going to say, a touch too passive. The King of Cups here can be a little laid back. So perhaps I don't think he should attempt to go after him. Let the legal people do this. But he's not, in the famous Dem tradition, he's not putting the story together in a soundbite for independent voters. He's not reassuring long-term Democratic voters that things will be all right, the processes are being followed. I just get massive passivity from that. And then the Fool card. Now, I take great pains when I'm teaching tarot to say to people, my students, that it can be a very foolish card at its base meaning, but it goes all the way in a spectrum to being the most sophisticated card, maybe, of the whole major arcana. It has huge variation, right? However, this is Trump walking off a cliff with his mouth open. Okay. Wouldn't you love to be surprised? No, that's how they operate. Okay. Now, in other news, the story is Freedom Caucus, those hideous right-wing 19th century, you know, Handmaid's Tale. Freedom Caucus says they have expelled Marjorie Taylor Greene. I hope that report's right. Can anyone get back to me? Thank you. Oh, my cards are mixed up. What's happening? Got a mix of cards going on here. Okay, so in other news, I'm going to have to move to another deck. They're driving me insane. Yes, back to Walt Nauta for a minute, the body man for Trump. He doesn't seem to be able to find a lawyer. Hell surprise, right? Now, that could be because a lot of lawyers are now gun shy, because I think you'll find most lawyers don't want to take on losing cases that destroy their careers and don't not get paid for it. I think you find most of them are not in that group. So with him, well, now let's just have a quick look. He strikes me as being quite a simple kind of guy who's in way over his depth. You know, in Australia, we'd say he's a sandwich short of a picnic. You know what I mean? So I'll just have a quick look. I think I looked at him last time, but I just want to see what's happening here briefly. Oh, he's a deer in the headlights. Oh my God. I only pulled 3 cards. Look, he's being massively manipulated, not just by Trump, but by Trump's legal team. I don't think he's got a clue what's going on. Everything is happening very quickly and one on top of the other. This is the card of oppression. And power, not his power. He is literally being squashed like a bug in this story. Whoosh. And we know how it goes. The Yeti uses you up and spits you out. But we can only hope, because he's now watched too many Godfather movies and he's holding out and he's being all staunch. But I would expect that to change very quickly. Now, Governor of Arizona, Doug Ducey. So, interesting story that came out in the last few days. You know, when the Yeti was on the phone to Raffensperger, just find me another 11,700 votes. He did the same to Doug Ducey, not asking for votes, but to ask him to not certify the election count. And the story has come out. I love this. Go, Doug Ducey. He was just about to sign the paperwork on the election. And apparently every governor has a dedicated phone. If the White House rings, they're not in a phone queue for obvious reasons. So it's like Get Smart. Remember Get Smart? So there's the dedicated phone to control, you know, It was ringing as he was sitting down with the paperwork, and he didn't answer the phone. Brilliant tactic. Who doesn't answer the phone to the president? Well, someone who wants to support democracy. So full marks to him. In Arizona, another snippet is apparently the state is almost broke from defending the stupid election theft lie. Because remember, Arizona was one of those who had to spend 8 million here and 12 million there and 14 million here, only to prove it was all rubbish. And that's affected the state coffers. So what I want to do now is I want to have a little look. You can't cover all Trump's court cases because there are not enough hours in the day or days in the week. But I want to have a quick sprint around. I've got a little visual diagram for my head. I'll start with Arizona because I've just been talking about that. Arizona, Georgia, Jan 6, and the docs. So let's have a quick look here. Let's have a look. First, we're going to Arizona. because there are. I didn't realize how many legal cases were going on in Arizona. So I'm going to ask, how is Arizona going for Trump? How is Arizona going for Trump? Mhm. Is Curry Lake, Arizona? Can you remind me? Okay, the first card, it's like the scales of justice. It's very similar to the justice card here. Things coming into balance. They've gone right out to MAGA and beyond, and now these legal processes are coming into play to try and bring things back into some sort of balance. They have the devil card. I'm sure they had their own issues before 2016, but right now they've got a real problem trying to juggle their Trump devotees and the real world. Princess of Swords, I think this is, I'm just getting Carrie Lake all over this. So if she's not Arizona, I'm off the mark here. But this is a strong woman, because she is, but going at it impulsively, not thinking, not aware of the consequences, just going for it. And now I think it's sort of tears before bedtime. The Queen of Cups, she failed to keep the lid on the cups. When she rushed around doing all these things and running again and questioning the election and all of that, I think he's got bored with her. She's not his type. So it doesn't matter if she goes to the wall and loses her integrity, her career, her family. Wouldn't matter to him. It's not enough. I think he's bored with her. And this is tears, tears, tears. But I think Arizona is trying to take the chains off, connecting themselves to the Yeti, and I think they will make progress. Okay, let's have a quick look in Georgia. How's Fani Willis going? Things aren't looking good for Lindsay, Queen of Swords Graham, are they? He's really losing the plot. Well, he's another one who's just been lost in the poisonous wake of throwing his hat in with this man. Anyway, he's South Carolina. Focus, Lena. Georgia. What's happening with Fani and the others? The fake electors, all of these cases, how are they getting on? Well, that's funny. Let's see. These are quite heavy cards, I have to say, in terms of Georgia. Now, here we have, it kicks off with the Seven of Pentacles, which in the Thoth deck is failure. And my heart skipped a beat. I thought, oh no, Fani, no. But I think this is the failure of the state of Georgia to protect the election workers and to encourage the fake electors. I think it's an abject failure of the state of Georgia that is being talked about here. And right above them, they are worried, right? Okay. And so they should be. They went in without thinking. You know, that's the Fool card there. And now things are out of their control. And now justice is stepping up in the form of Fani Willis I'm hopeful with this Chariot here that we'll finally see some movement on this case, because I've been pretty sure behind the scenes that, you know, Jack Smith has made a deal and an informal deal with Fani, and I'm sure they know the running order of what's going to happen with all this. Okay, so we've done Arizona and Georgia. Let's just check in on the docs, and then we'll find out about January 6th, because that's sort of taken a back seat, the docs. And of course, every time you open your news feed, there's another example of the Yeti contravening official secrets, contravening, you know, his role as president of a huge and important country, and showing these around like they're menus at the taco store. You know, complete disregard for everything. So let's have a look at the docs, because part of the problem is, I think, more offences keep coming to light. Really, it's a bit like Merrick Garland back in the, or Mueller. They need to draw a line and go, we're only investigating to here, even though he no doubt did all this, because you never get to the end of his criminal behaviour. You know, it's an unending road to hell. Okay, so here we go with the documents. Oh, very interesting. So with this, what I think is happening here, I'm going to read you the first card last, because these others tell a story in themselves. So you have the Lovers, the Empress who expands everything. This is deals that were made. I don't think Trump deals. I think this is behind the scenes in the legal world. Now they've got more evidence than they can actually handle. Yeah. God knows how many people are working on this. The card we got before, I really love this image. Queen of Swords. Sorry, we didn't get it before. It was my reference to Lindsey Graham. Now, with this Queen of Swords, I think this is a female prosecutor that Jack Smith has in charge of the documents, and she's about to descend from the sky with a sword. And, well, in fact, two swords, one in each hand, and go for it. Oh my God. The last card resulting in ruin for the subject matter, and the subject of this would be the Yeti, you see. So I'm getting a bit of movement with Fani, and now we're going to finish with J6. Because there's been, what, over 1,000 arrests altogether, a lot of people prosecuted. Most of them will be out of jail before the big people even get mentioned. So slow. Justice delayed is justice denied. No one else, I'm sorry, in the rest of the world, America, understands really why this is all taking so long. I remember having conversations with lawyers here in Australia just after January 6th, and they said at the time, this will take a few years to play out. Don't expect a quick result. This will take years. And I tried to pass on that calm to you guys. But really, it's not as though he's just behaving and waiting for his court cases. He's out there doing damage. So come on, guys. J6. J6, what is happening? What is happening? Tell us. Jack, we're relying on you. No, the country simply could not tolerate another Muller episode where all that work that Muller did in good faith was completely sabotaged by the then treacherous Bill Barr, who now says, oh, no, I didn't really mean it. No one told me Trump was a bad guy. I didn't know. I mean, dreadful, dreadful human. January 6th. Stay on track, Glenn. Okay, Jan 6. Please give us some good news. Right, well, there's a bit of speed represented here, but it's got to be in the context of legal speed, which is, you know, slower than a turtle on Valium, you know. It's just so slow. Anyway, I'll do my best. Strength card. I think this is saying to you guys and the rest of America, stay strong, keep the faith. Well, I'm sure you've tapped into your deepest well, but nonetheless, stay strong. This is the Fool in its context of the beginning. It's I'm not getting finishing cards. I'm getting new things. This is bothering me today, as you can see. They keep finding new things, new witnesses, new testimony. The Ace of Swords is here, cutting through all this. So the positive side that I have to report, I think this energy is sort of now. And I think they've been accumulating more and more things, but now Jack Smith, and I'm sure he wouldn't make the decision absolutely on his own, he would have trusted top-notch advisors, is at the pointy end of a breakthrough. He's getting his winged phoenixes in order and he's ready to pounce. And he gets a 10 too. This is the 10 of Wands, which is, it's been a big burden for him throughout this. But a 10 is the end. He's getting to the end of having to, every time you get something new and major of this scale, everything else has to be recalibrated. And I think this is what the time lag has been. We've got this. We already were about to go with this. New information, new witness. Do they jump over the witnesses they've got? And they've been trying to put these different new pieces in. And I think they've either come to the end of what they're prepared to do, or they've decided just that. We have to draw some sort of line and go ahead. So these two cards give me some optimism. Yeah. So my darlings, I have to go now. I am off to see the doctor for my annual skin check with this Irish skin in the Australian sun. Not a good combination. Okay, so look after yourselves. And my heart still goes out to Canada, the biggest wildfires in Canada's history, as if you guys don't have to be told that. So all my love, and I'll see all of you soon. Ciao, ciao.